Software, I'll speak about software testing amplification. So you can, I'll take a higher view on Spoon because Spoon is used in a STAMP project. We have, it's an European project that you can see for H2020. We've got 9 partners. And the coordinator is Benoît Baudry at INRIA. We are in the DevOps Paradigm. So it's an evolution of the software development practices because we saw that developers and sysadmins speak to each other during release. So to have a better communication between them, we had a great idea. We'll do more releases. So it will favor feedback from production into development. To have functioning DevOps paradigm, you need a lot of automation because you can't manually test, build, and deploy, configure, and monitor your software each week. So you need to rely on automation. We will focus today more precisely on test automation. So you've got your testing execution, unit testing, user interface testing. You have concerns about performance because you can't have every day 1 hour of test, or well, when you test through the database, it may lag. It may take some hours. So it's a concern. It's automation, so you will get back metrics. Well, basic metrics as does the test pass or does the test fail, how your code is covered by your test, and this test automation obviously and at each time reduce your regressions and helps you to detect your code before releasing them. It avoids rollbacks and a lot of time. This test automation comes with difficulties because unit tests and creating tests is maybe hard. Often it's difficult because it's not in your use case. You have to design your test. I don't know any software which is able to unit test to cover everything in your unit test. Okay, and so it's a difficulty. And some tests are flaky. What are flaky tests? That are tests one time they passed and another time they fail. Okay, which is a good one. So it is a concern that STAMP will help to address. And when you've got done your unit tests, you will want to do more tests about configuration. Well, it's a consequence of DevOps paradigm. You see that your sysadmins have problems with configuration. We observe what we lack convenient tools for automation of configuration testing. Usually in projects, we've got very limited samples and about configuration. Maybe you'll test 2 versions of Java and 2 database engines, and that's all. So STAMP will try to automatically transform existing test assets in order to detect regression bugs before production and drive down the cost of software testing. Well, it's in bold. Stamp doesn't start from scratch. It starts with an existing test suite. It focused precisely on regression bugs. And like every automation tool, it's to drive down the cost. Here is hello world of the test of the unit test. So you've got a method test search, you instantiate an object and do some initializations, and then you make assertions. It's free there. What does an amplification do is this. You've got another function with the same first step, instantiation, initialization, and then the tool will try to invoke other methods and make assertions on them. And they'll take the methods you put in. It's a stacks.search, second item and first item. They extract them from the assertions and to put the results for further use, like a new asserts that it's done after. So the main goal is to focus on regressions. So you've got an amplified test suite. P is your current version of the program. It's the version on production, and P prime is the developer version, the newer version. You will run your amplified test suite against the true version of your program, and you will spot the differences. And each reference is a regression bug. How Stamp is in DevOps Paradigm. So you'll see the infinite loop of software development, and Stamp will be in the blue part, the developer part, and a bit in the orange part, more the operators part. I told you about unit testing for regression bugs. I told you a bit about configuration testing. And the last part is the online testing. It's the goal is to build a test when the application crash. So it will use the logs to make it a test. So for each part, here are the Stamp goals. As we use other functions, other methods during the amplified test, we aim at increasing coverage of the code. We aim at giving help in defining deployment configurations, and of course to analyze the logs to construct a test case from production problems. Here's the parts concerned by these pods. You've got the test suite, the production version and the developer version, and this, the output of this pods is the amplified test suite. The test suite and the program as the inputs of this pod to search into the input space. Input space is the parameters of the methods which are tested. And after we amplificate the observation states, that's the regressions of the methods. And after that, that's the last part, we run the test against P and P prime and look for differences, and these differences are the regression bugs. So it's a French comic strip. Daddy, I don't want to sleep. Can you tell me a developer paradox? Okay. How are executed the unit test of a unit test framework? Hilarity ensues. To find bugs, to make a tool to find bugs, you need bugs. So we'll make them. We use Pit. Pit is a mutation testing system. Mutation testing is, well, you've got a software, we will modify it to see what happens. Donc it injects bugs into a program. Pit is, Pit stands for Pit, if I recall well. It's changed, for instance, it's changed greater than with greater than or equal. That's fine-grained false. This is great, but it doesn't apply to large code databases because, for each greater than, you get more than one version. And you pass it to the amplificator, so you've got a huge set of tests. So Descartes is an adaptation of Pit with extreme mutation operators. It simply empties the body of methods. If the method has a return value, it's a constant with Pit Descartes. Stamp in the DevOps paradigm isn't developed for itself. It's developed for its use cases. We've got 5. One with proactive, one with Teleclub. It's about healthcare. OW2 will use Stamp on some of its projects. Atos Fireware is about Internet of Things, and I believe XWiki had a speech on fair use of Stamp. So it's a European project. We find Activian, Atos, Engineering, Linria, of course, OW2, Syntev, TUDelf, TellU, and XWiki. It started 1st of December last year, and it will end in 3 years later. So I suggest you, if you want to give it a try, you'll find it on GitHub. And well, it's a small review of the project. If you've got any question, I'll be happy to try to answer.